Friday to one and all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back to yet another episode of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. As usual, I am your host, Lamont Ferguson, playing the role of the old man. Oh, I bet some of you out there lost some money just now, didn't you? I bet quite a few of you lost some money. There's no way he comes back a second week in a row with a brand new episode. But we can't be fooled by him and his false promises. We know him. No way. Put all my money down. Guess what? You lost. You lose. Matter of fact, the only reason I came back is just to be spiteful. That's why I'm spiteful. Anyway, it is time to get back to work, is what it is. So I am going through the final stages of getting things ready to get back to work. I had a little bit of time, decided to sit behind the recording machine and throw down an episode. This is episode 39, forever 39 of the podcast. We're getting up there. We're almost 40, whatever 40 is. I know 30 is dirty, but I don't know what 40. 40 is fabulous. I don't know what who knows. I thank you for being here. I hope you were well. I hope your week treated you well. You know what I asked you? I asked you, what is the good word? What's the good word? How you doing? How you been? You been good? I've been all right. Thanks for asking. I am in the process of getting everything together to get back on the road. It takes a bit of an effort when you've been gone for 27 days into the reality of just kind of laying back, kicking back at the house, doing house things. And then you got to pack a bag for 3 weeks. Hopefully have access to laundry. I did last time on the ship, so that does help a lot. And then get back to the funny, going out and telling jokes and trying to squeeze in pickleball when you can. That is at what lies ahead of me. I am facing a kind of a dilemma, a situation that I don't really care about. There's a flash drive, a USB drive that contains everything that I do on ships. Every ship, it's all ready for every single ship to install, and I can't find it. And yet, every time I look at it, I say, that's the most important thing. Make sure you have that. That's the most important thing. And somehow, last time on the ship, I don't know what I did with it. I have no idea because I did something different. I took it out to add a closing song to the rotation as far as an outro. And I don't know what I did. I have no idea. But I'm going to keep looking and hopefully I find it. But that's my biggest stress right now. Anyway, it's only been a week. I don't know if I'm all fired up about a lot of things. I will tell you I am true to my word. Did not watch a single thing of news in this entire week, so I mean, I go outside. Looks like we're still a country. Everything still seems to be operating. Things are open. Now, granted, I don't know. I don't. They're open in my world, and I don't. My world is very limited. I just go to a handful of places. So I don't know when I'll tune into the news and see what's going on, what people are outraged about, outraged on that social media, Facebook. Man, thank goodness we got that, right? Because now people can just voice every day their displeasure of everything. Everything. What did we do before that? What did we do before, hey, this made me mad. Let me go ahead and vent this, put this out in the ether, see if anybody else agrees with me. The power is in the agreement. When you find people in agreement with you, that is what empowers people. It used to be you couldn't find those people. Like if you had a weird thought, you just have to keep that thought to yourself. You you couldn't just be saying that to everybody because you'd find the people that go, that's weird, and then you'd be an outcast. But now you can just throw it out there on the bullhorn across the world, and because of odds, you'll find people that go, yeah, I think that too. And now you've got a group. Anyway, this is what the topics will be. It'll be pickleball. You know it'll be pickleball. because I had a little rough patch this week that was, ooh, very frustrating. It'll be pickleball. It'll be maybe a little bit of life things. And I think maybe that'll be it. Won't be a long episode. So if you've kind of hunkered down with a cup of cocoa, I don't I don't even know why that would be a thing. That's in my mind, that's how I imagine people listening to the dulcet sounds of my voice. They get a little cocoa, they sit in their robes. It's always Christmas in their house. I don't know why. This is my thoughts. This is what I think, how I envision people listening. Like old time radio shows. If I could just have a Foley artist in the back doing some sound effects, then I think I achieved my dream. Why don't I go ahead and start with pickleball? Let's get that out of the way, shall we? This has been quite a week in my development of pickleball. I felt good. I felt like I was in a groove. I felt like I was kind of advancing in the game. And then I went out to go see my mom, which I will talk about in a bit. I went to go visit my mom in Chino. And when I go out early, play some pickleball at Volano Park. Shout out to Volano Park. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it Park? Ah, yeah, good Lord. Volano Park and the folks there, good people over there. So I played there, couple of games, played nicely, very nicely, very limited, a minimal amount of unforced errors, won a couple of games. Then waited, got ready to get into the third game, and I don't know who that guy was, but that guy was atrocious. It was like the Monstars had taken over my body in Space Jam, and I could not hit a shot in to save my life. I was making the lady who I was partnered with. I know she wasn't rolling her eyes, but I could feel the inner monologue in her head was like, "What did I get into?" And it was just so frustrating. Just one mistake after another. And granted, we came back and made it a decent game. I think it was 11-8. But man, it's horrible. The games after that, she still was polite enough to be a partner with me. And then we dominated. Couldn't stop us. Good Lord, we were on fire. So I felt good, even though I still harkened back to those bunch of mistakes I made. The next day, playing at my regular place, the Monstars showed up again. And this time it was so frustrating. I'm going to be honest. I almost did a paddle throw. I almost took that paddle and chucked it as far as I possibly could. And it has been a long time since I have been that frustrated with any type of sports. But that's how I felt that day. Oh my goodness. I felt like, why am I even out here? And these guys have played with me for a while. They know that's not who I am out there, yet that's who I was that day. And man, oh man, just loss after loss after loss. I was 0 for the day until the very last game and then ended up winning that game. But I didn't feel like I did anything in that game. All I did in that game was stay out of the way. That's all I did. The guy who was with me carried me, and I just stayed out of the way. And it was, man, what a frustrating sport this pickleball is. Once you get to a certain level where you're trying to play the game the quote unquote right way. Uh, I can't move anymore. My knees are shot. I think every basketball player's knees are shot. Every basketball player I've seen that is converted into pickleball are all the people who have horrible knees. That basketball pounding on that hardwood for years, running up and down, and the lines and the suicide drills and all this other stuff, man, that is no friend to your knees at all. And then we make the transition into pickleball, and our hand-eye coordination is on point. But you hit a ball that is 2 inches too far past your hands. Well, I'm not running to get that. I'm not crossing over to get that. That's why we stopped playing basketball because you can't guard the guy in front of you. Couple of moves, and then it's like, oh, hey, I hope my center back there can help out because, yeah, I'm a turnstile out here. So that's been my progress on pickleball. And those of you that play the game, I'm sure you can share in that frustration. And all you do is you just keep going, you keep playing. So today, which is, by the way, I'm to let you behind the curtain. I'm taping this on Thursday. Today I went to my regular round robin play, and I was ready for the horrible play. My mindset was, just don't throw your paddle. It's going to be terrible. And it was the exact opposite. We play, it's round robin, it's through an app, through the Swish app, and then they just kind of pair you up with other people. I had the first game, the first round off. I had a bye because we had an odd number of people. Then after that, I played 8 games. You played a total of 9 games. I played 8 games. First 4 games I played, I carried whoever my partner was. And a lot of those people were really good. And yet I was the best player on the court. Not even close. And it's one of those things where I'm just laughing. I'm like, this is the dumbest sport ever. Yesterday, beyond garbage, beyond radioactive waste. And today, oh, couldn't be stopped in the first 4 games. And then after that, it kind of evened out. And I think the next 4 games, I went 2-2. But still, those first 4 compared to yesterday is what makes you go, what the hell's going on? I don't understand what's happening. And that, in a nutshell, is pickleball. That's the pickleball. That's the game I love, the game I'm addicted to, the game I can't live without, apparently. Although, Wednesday, ooh, it was close. It was touch and go on Wednesday. But I'll keep at it. Maybe the break, being on the ship and having inconsistent pickleball is exactly what I'll be needing for the next 3 weeks. So that's the update on pickleball. I hope you enjoyed that pickleball chat, that 11 minutes of pickleball talk, which was just for a very specific audience. If you fast forwarded through this, now you're safe. We're all done. As I mentioned on Tuesday, I went out to go see my mom. Now, I've mentioned this once before on a previous broadcast, but my mom's health is failing. My mom has been suffering from dementia for the past couple of years, maybe 4 years now, maybe. And it's one of those things where you can see that this is coming to an end. And I know there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people. I hear so many stories about people who talk about, well, they had to care for their parents, and their parents in their later stages were suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, and how difficult it is. Good Lord. It is, that is a horrible illness. It is a horrific illness. I know cancer is terrible. I know all the illnesses. I mean, it's funny. I'm ranking the illnesses. They're all horrible in their own right. They're all terrible. And dementia and Alzheimer's is no better because you watch a person deteriorate rapidly to the point where they are not the person that you remember anymore. That's one of the most difficult things about it is that when it continues to drag on, that there's a point where you don't remember the person as who they were. Because when you continually see them in this state, that is how you associate with them. It becomes this type of this is the relative moment, prisoner of time type of situation. So you see them this way. I remember when I saw her in November at Thanksgiving, the deterioration from the previous time I had seen her, which was not that long before, was mind-boggling. And then seeing her now, which I've seen her since November, uh, is still just uh, crazy because that's. I remember talking to my sister and just saying, "That's not mom. That's not mom." Because this this disease, this illness, just takes away. In essence, it takes away their dignity. When you talk about quality of life, uh, everyone wants to have those waning years be productive and enjoyable. But the truth is, those last few years for a lot of us are not going to be that. They're going to be this. They're going to be degenerative. They're going to be uh, shocking and just not fun. Not fun at all. We all want to have that life where it has an arc, it has a peak, and then you just kind of go off into the sunset, and then you just get tired. Like a Western where you're like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm just gonna sit here on the porch and kind of drift off. You go on without me. That's how we would like life to be, but it's not that at all. And this dementia is not any enjoyable thing. Anyone who's had to go through it, anyone who's had to take care of their parent and watch their parent go through it, it's tough. It is very tough. I give a shout out to my sister. I did this before in the other podcast because my sister was the one who ended up, Monique, my next to youngest sister, was the one who ended up having to be the primary caretaker for my mom because she lived in the same area. She was, as far as regional, close to being able to, and had the means to be able to do it. And so that is crazy that undertaking for her is immense to be able to do it. And so I know this probably causes a lot of rifts in a lot of families of who's going to take care of this. Then they end up putting the parent into a home and people rarely visit and stuff like that. But to have that undertaking, to be the person that is taken care of, that's a Herculean effort being done by my sister to take care of my mom and make her as comfortable as she possibly can be in her final time here on the earth. One positive thing I take out of it is uh, is that my mom still knows who I am, seeing me, facial recognition. Uh, there are times where if I go over there and go to visit her, or she's about to come to wherever it is that I am, that whoever is with her will then prod her like the president. Like, when the president comes up to see that is the Prince of Saudi Arabia. His name is so and so, so and so, that type of deal. And I really didn't want that. So when I go in, I don't want anybody to say, "Hey, mom, your son is here," or something like that. I just want her to see. I just want her to see. And if she recognizes me, she recognizes me. If not, I'm fine with that too, because it's life. It's what it is. So there was a nice moment where I went to go visit my brother-in-law, did go tell her, she said, "Hey, your son is here." And then she said, "Okay." And then when I walked in the room, which was immediately after that, she said, "Oh yeah, he is here." So it was that recognizing of me. So that was very, very nice. And you just take those moments. You take those types of moments and you cherish that in these uh, moments of not knowing who you are or what's going on or anything like that. Uh, I remember when I had I don't know, last summer, I had spent a couple of weeks there with my mom. My sister went on vacation. And there was a point in time where I asked my mom, "Do you know who I am?" And she just looked at me and said, "No, I don't. I don't." I said, "So you have no idea who I am?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "I just know you're the man here that takes care of me." And I'll be honest, that's good enough. That's good enough. I didn't have a moment where you got to remember me. You got to know I'm your only son. No, that's good enough because there's a point in time where you almost, I don't know what it is to be trapped inside of your body where your mind has failed you. But to be able to just witness and recognize that, hey, this is a person that is decent to me. That's fine because there's a point where that's almost how you're treating. You inside your head, that is your parent, that's your mom, that's your dad, that's who that is. You have all these volumes of memories with that person, but that person has no access to any of those memories, not at will. There may be a flash of something where they remember you could talk to them about something and they'll remember this or remember that, but they don't have it at will. They can't just, hey, I can go pull up this file. We can do that, but they can't. So you're treating them in essence like a person that looks like your parent, but you're just treating them out of the kindness as if they're a stranger. It's That's the best way that I've been able to put it, to be able to cope with it and deal with it. I just know, as I've reiterated, I can't reiterate, it's just not a great way to go out. You feel like as a human being, you deserve better. No matter what, you deserve better. So, whatever research can be put into this, I'm definitely behind it, and I'm sure there's quite a few folks that are behind it. And for some reason, it just needs that push because all of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are dealing with it. Or a lot of us either have dealt with it, are currently dealing with it, or the truth is, gonna have to deal with it with your parents, or it could be you. That's the other thing about it. Because when I become a little forgetful now, there's a sinking pit in my stomach that goes, oh no, is this how it starts? And I'm not talking about the, hey, I walked into a room, I don't remember what happens. That happens to everybody. I'm just talking about just not remembering things. I'm going to tell you right now, there are many times I go to the pickleball court and there are people I've played with over and over again. And I look at them and go, yeah, I don't remember that person's name. And then eventually it'll come to me. Eventually it will come to me. But that is it's a sinking feeling. It's what it is. I'm not saying that I'm just saying when you deal with this firsthand, uh, all these different various thoughts go through your head. So I will go out on the road for 3 weeks. And when I come back, I will go back and see mom again. It's just nice to spend time with her. It's nice that she says, hey, I miss you. I'm glad to see you. And I'll be honest, that's good enough for me. That's a good day. It's a weird thing, this life. It's a very, very weird, unfair, un no roadmap for it, just kind of a wide open wilderness where things will just kind of hit you on the side. Like, how'd that happen? I can't believe I'm on the road. How did a wildebeest come out of nowhere? I mean, you know. So is what it is, people. So it's an odd thing. None of that was funny. I understand that. Again, this is probably what happened with those lost episodes. Is none of them were funny. It was just me talking about life. But this one I will put up because, like I said, I know a lot of people are dealing with the same thing, and it's just tough. And no one really talks about it. Everyone says, "Oh, it was rough," and then they move on because it's hard to process. It is hard to process. If you've seen any of my stand up, you've seen the fact that I talk about my mom saying that was a bad man. In her mama prime, that was a bad man. And when I see that person on Tuesday, that's not the same person. It's not the same person. And somehow you have to quantify that both of those are the same persons, people. I think I've conjugated myself into confusion. But that is the same person. And you have to feel, how do you deal with that? How do you do it? And I know a lot of us are out there doing it. A lot of us do it and nobody says anything. Every person I have spoken to that said something about their parent had it, all they say is, "Oh, it was rough." And you also have to, there's a point in time where, as I said before, that you only remember them as this because this is how you see them. There's almost a point in time where you have to make an adjustment. Like after they pass, the amount of time that passes before you can almost erase those final years of what you saw and remember them in the light of how you always picture them. So there's also that adjustment that needs to take place. But you get through it. Such is life. And if I forget your name at pickleball, it's just because I play pickleball too much. That's how I realize. That's how I justify it. I can't remember all of your names for crying out loud. All right. Was there anything else? There's sports. I didn't mention sports last time. Let's do that. Even though we did talk pickleball, but let's talk about real sports. Yeah, I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm a big most things LA fan, with the exception of the Dodgers. I'll root for the Dodgers unless they're playing the Padres, because I grew up in San Diego. Well, let's put it this way. I grew up in LA, then moved to San Diego when high school started. Still a Dodger fan. But when the Dodgers became the 1970s Yankees and started trading away all of their farm system players, Mike Piazza was the last straw for me. And I was done. I said, I will not root for the Dodgers ever again. And I've stayed true to my word. I've come back to it now that I live in closer to LA, but I will not root for them over the Padres. I will root for the Padres over the Dodgers. Uh, that's just how it works. So, but I'm a big Lakers fan. Big, huge Lakers fan. And as the big news took place a couple of weeks ago, we got Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is now a Laker. I am sad to see AD go, but I get how the business works, and you want a new face of the franchise. And Luka's an amazing player, and for me, it's still, the jury's still out, as this works. If this is going to work out, because I'm big on basketball. I coach. They don't know I'm coaching, but I coach when I'm watching, because I watch the game. I think I mentioned this earlier. I On a different podcast. I watch the game in a different way than regular people watch the game because I've played the game. Not at that level, obviously. I'm not a pro, but I've played the game, and I watch the game from a different viewpoint, from a viewpoint of a point guard slash coach that kind of knows what's going on out there. I'll do color commentary constantly. I am saying things, and then 2 seconds later, the color commentator says the same thing, and that is a validation for me on my color commentary. I'm like, yeah, I already said that, Stu. I've already said that. Or I'll stop the broadcast and rewind it, show the people in the room the things that they should be watching, because I'm not watching the guy with the ball. I already know what the guy with the ball is going to do. I'm watching the people in the back. I'm watching the cuts and the back screens in the back, because I'll see the play take place before it'll take place, or I'll see what the play should have been when you should have made the pass. But that's where I sit with sports with the Lakers, just trying to figure out if this is going to work out. That was a tough loss the other night to Charlotte. Oh my goodness, tough loss. Up, we got baseball season coming up. Baseball season is started today. I think preseason started today. And you know my thing with baseball. I've talked about this before. The whole analytics thing and stuff. And now there's talk that in 2026 they're going to be bringing in this ABS system. I think it's the automated balls and strikes. So there will still be an umpire. But the ball strike call will come from a computer that will say that whether this pitch was a ball or a strike. And it's making the game a little weird. Now I know I'm an old man. I'm an old man with old man set in his ways. I'm still not happy about the getting rid of the pitcher hitting because I like baseball as being a chess match. But I get it. It moves on, and I'm fine now. I'm not still railing on that. I would have liked. I'm glad I got to see that. That's what I would like to stayed with the leagues, American League. Hey, there's not a pitchers don't hit, and in the National League pitchers hit. That's fine. That would have been. I'm fine with that. But now that yeah, nobody the pitchers don't hit except for Shohei, and I'm fine with it. I'm just glad I got to see the other type of baseball. I'm curious as to how this automated automatic balls and stripes or automated balls and strikes is going to work out. There's a lot of people complaining that it takes the human factor out of the game. Although I've seen a lot of games and the human factor could be taken out of the game. Good Lord, some of those umpires. Like, what are you looking at? And I get that's part of the game is to get mad at the ump and say, hey, ump, what are you looking at? Take me, put your glasses on, ump. Come on, Blue. What are you doing? But some of them are egregious. So if this helps get better to real balls and real strikes and consistent balls and strikes as opposed to a batter walking up and going, oh, it's this umpire. He has a low strike zone. Oh, this umpire has a high strike zone. The strike zone should be the strike zone for crying out loud. It's not your preference as an umpire. It's the strike zone. Mid chest, mid thigh. That's where the strike zone is. Over the plate. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to baseball. I like the sport of baseball. That's a thinking man's game. And I understand we've got to make it for the young people because we're losing viewers. I don't really care. We're losing viewers. Then let it just die a slow death and baseball go the way of other things. Let it go the way of jacks. Let baseball just ride off into the sunset and not have this bastardization of the sport because they kept trying to save it and make it appeal to young people. Have you seen the young people? Here's my thought also on the young people. People think, oh, well, they're so much better than we were. Okay, in aspects, some regards. My thought is the final product. The question is all the changes we have made for trying to raise young people, have we raised better young people? Anyone? Anyone have a definitive answer as a yes or no that we've raised better young people? I think we're leaning more towards no. We're raising more empowered young people. We're raising less fearful young people because that, come on, let's be honest. Our whole generations prior to us, were all raised on fear. Be afraid of this. Oh, let me tell you something. When your father comes home, you better be afraid. It was all on fear. I can understand the understanding now part, but I don't think we're raising a better breed of people. I've seen young people. I'm afraid of them. That's my fear. My fear is to be afraid of the young people now. They got all the answers, and yet they have no answers. They got all the bravado, no information, yet have access to all the information. Who knew that having access to every bit of information would make people so doggone stupid? I don't think we're making smarter people. That's what I'm saying. But so we'll see. We'll see how baseball works out. All right, people. I think this is going to be a short episode. We're not going to go an hour on this one. We're not even close right now. We're at 30 some odd minutes. Like I said, won't be a long one. It'll just be an episode that I got up. It's not as, and I know it is not as humorous or uh, I don't know. I was going to say humorous or funny, which is the same thing, but hopefully it was interesting enough to, give you pass a little time for 30 minutes, see what's going on. I am going to get ready to go back out onto the work on the Celebrity Equinox. Hopefully, while I'm out there, I think that'll be a 2 week period by the time next week's episode should be able to be done. I think I'll probably check the news and I'll be all fired up again. I'll check the news and I'll be fired up and I'll give you a little bit more than what I gave you this week. But I appreciate the folks who listen. I appreciate the folks that were happy that I returned. That was very nice of you. And I'll try to keep doing what I do, you know? Get all fired up about things. Shout out to my mom, Joe Eleanor Ferguson. The last thing I told her was I said, "You did a good job raising us. You did good work." Because in essence, you're here, all of us are here to make it better for the following generation. And I don't know if we tell that generation those words because there are times you want to hear, that's why you have a review with your boss. You go to the people, you guys have jobs, you go to job, you like to hear, "Hey, you're doing good work. You've done a good job." And as a parent, your job is just to make sure that everything's okay for that kid. And I don't know if we take the time to tell our parents, "You know what? You did good. You did good." So I told my mom as I was leaving to get ready to go to a show, "You did good, Mom. You did good." We focus a lot of times on you see all the people like, "Oh, you ruined my life. You did this." The kids in therapy and all this other stuff like that. Uh, it's a tough job parenting, and there are some crappy parents out there. There are parents out there that shouldn't have been parents. You get that. We understand that. But there are some parents that make mistakes, and they're just doing the best job that they can because there is no manual on parenting. It is a fail succeed business. You fail at something and go, "All right, well, I know not to do that next time." That's how it works. All of the people out there that are trying to do everything correct. "Oh, I got to make sure I do this for my kid and do this for my kid, and I'll treat that for my kid." Guess what? That kid will still find something that you did wrong because the manual you're working from is a bunch of failures that you just don't want to repeat. But within those, you still might make failures. It's like going back in time and changing something, the one thing you wanted to change, but then that had ripples on the other thing. It's the butterfly effect, is what it is. So, to the parents out there that are trying, and you know you're not perfect. We know you're not perfect. None of us are perfect. To that generation that raised kids, you did the best you can, the best you could possibly do. And maybe take a little time to tell your parents, whether you're old or young, you're doing you're doing good. You're doing a good job. All right, folks. That is that. You can check out all things Pickleball Comedian at pickleballcomedian.com. Follow on Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok. Well, no, there's no Pickleball Comedian on TikTok. It's just TV Funny Man. I think it's OG TV Funny Man because I couldn't get TV Funny Man on Facebook. On TikTok, but I'm on there. I'll put up clips, stuff like that. You can check out the calendar on lamontferguson.com. I remember how I used to have the problem with the email. I think the email disappeared and went away. But on if you go to Buzzsprout and look at the podcast there, you can leave a note. Or you can just email me at ferguson.lamont@gmail.com. There's a new email. That'll go right to me. Get that. ferguson.lamont@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments. But no nonsense on your comments. Don't put any nonsense. Hey, what are you talking about? You did. Because if that's the case, then be prepared for Cranky coming back. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. We'll see what happens as far as time goes with me being able to put up another episode next Friday. I talked about a handful of things here today. Talked about baseball, basketball, pickleball, anything with ball. I talked about it. And I talked about my mom and life and the horrible thing that is dementia. Now, some of these things I may have been wrong about the whole idea of baseball. I could be wrong. Uh, the basketball trade with Luka that everybody's all happy about. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about my approach to pickleball. I could be wrong about a whole bunch of things because this is what I do. I just get on the machine and just start talking. But you know the drill. Sometimes the old man is right. I'll see you next time.